Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel. Pretty much on the channel Beauty from Ashes at this moment of time has been come to my attention. Pretty much I have been thinking and contemplating on what to do next in my video, so it has come to my heart right now about talking to you about some of my life experiences along the way, pretty much, and hopefully this will be an encouragement as well as a healer session, as well as maybe just an I am not, no matter what it may be, even though this is titled basically losing ourselves or even myself. Many times in our lives, however, when we are in a relationship that or even just in a friendship of a person, basically we give countless of times of, chances after chances after chances, but how many chances is too many chances for that person to prove to themselves that they will change and actually think about what they've said or done towards us that will actually reflect on them, sort of thing. We need to realise that despite that, during the breakup period, that it's not our fault, it's their fault, pretty much, that they had their own problems, maybe that they didn't deal with in the first place, and no matter what the problem was that occurred in that relationship, maybe we could work together properly to solve the problem, and that to have a time self-reflection and self-realisation that, no matter what, that this problem hopefully shouldn't occur again. But then again, sometimes some people are so stubborn and in denial of it all and may allow it to happen time and time again. I've realised in my time, however, that I have given countless of, chances to these people to prove to themselves that they'll change their thoughts and what have you about us, even though sometimes it's to the point where I've wasted my time and energy and breath on them. Question is, though, as I said before, how many chances do I need to give them? I feel that sometimes if we give them too many chances, here's an example, if we've given them at least maybe 5 to 6 chances and above, pretty much we're in that danger zone that pretty much that they'll probably basically tend to build us up and give us that hope factor and say that, we have changed, please give us that, chance, Karen, or whoever that may be. And then it tends to build us up and give us hope, and it seems to become a habit or a pattern of a cycle that it will just keep going and going, and that they'll walk all over us thinking that, oh, they've forgiven us, or we can do anything, we're in control of it, basically, and the like. Sometimes it will then open up the old wounds again and again when it hasn't been properly closed and healed properly through maybe, I don't know, if personal experience wise, if we were to encounter like a personal contact of a counsellor and stuff, just to, carry through what we need to go through and stuff and actually get a healing process going on, so to speak. But however, this is not to bash about everybody that I have been with, past and present, of relationships and whatever. This is just a self-realisation and hopefully maybe a self-reflection, shall we say, as well, on about me being in a few relationships that has been and gone, pretty much, that has been good and bad, pretty much, even though sometimes I need to realise that even though that I was in love with that particular someone, to this present day, even though he may not feel the same way, but maybe someday along the track or years going down the line that he may realise sooner or later that maybe some of the things that I've shared with him openly will actually come into force, that I was right, even though I'm not here to try and judge or criticise or even trying to score points here based on this. I'm just trying to hopefully give a realisation out there. I have thought that regardless of that day, when I was being with a few people in the relationships, past and present, that, I had to dress to impress, speak the way I had to speak to the way they wanted me to, pretty much, and that no matter what, pretty much I felt so isolated and alone, and I felt yucky. I felt that I wasn't myself, to be honest, with this person, that I had to change my standard and expectations to meet up to their standards and expectations, even though they may think with my relationships I was asking too much from it, but I wasn't, pretty much. If people knew me, for me, obviously I don't ask for much in a relationship, pretty much. As I said in one of my previous videos, I am actually the kind of girl that is old-fashioned to this point of time. But yes, I almost, at this moment in time, gave up almost everything just to be with that particular someone in that relationship. I lost myself, I lost my identity, I lost my sole purpose, I lost everything, to the point that I felt that I needed to be accepted and loved, through his family, through friends, through basically my very own family, even though I know for a fact that, my parents are acceptant of me, to this day, of what I choose to do in relationships and whatever I tend to, say or think, even though, yes, they've been with me through my heartaches, heartbreaks, and the works sort of thing. And basically, some of the stuff that I felt that despite the ugly dirtiness inside of me, being the fake me, basically, obviously clouded my perceptions, judgment of who and what I really was at that moment of time. Despite that, yes, I was trying to be on a self-journey of myself at that point, basically, after being in a rough relationship, before being into the one that I was, or I don't know if I'm still am to this day, and basically trying to self-realize to myself that I am who I am. And like I keep telling myself, if many people don't want to accept me for who and what I am, regardless of what I'm conditioned of or whatever, even though I'm trying to not let the AS and depression and everything else control me, I try to push myself regardless, even though, yes, I do feel sometimes tired and discouraged, that many people tend to, think that, oh, okay, she's just being the real deal or whatever. But at the end of the day, however, people's, how I look at it, is basically, why should I be changing that particular person of myself to please that person or whatever, even though I feel that nothing was given back to me. I felt that, relationships is a give and take. Yes, relationships as this particular someone I was with is hard work, but if you're willing to make it work and actually be open and real within yourself as well as to the person that you're with, you never know. That person might be able to help you along the way, regardless of where we may be. Because at the end of the day, it's about loving and accepting one another, basically, of our faults, flaws, and everything else in us. Even though the relationships that we're in should bring out the best in us, not the bad out of us. Okay, to me, however, when I was in this relationship, or shall we say, when I'm like an onion, I'll use that as an example, pretty much, with a lot of layers. Yet in that moment, I wasn't at peace within myself, whether I was with particular people in my life, regardless of my past relationships, however. Yet, on the contrary, with the person that I was with in the now, I feel that we're still in similar expectations of what we are. We are similar in certain situations we face, because I see myself as a reflection in them of what they're actually producing out towards me. I know sometimes we tend to cover up, basically, what we feel, we try to act all happy in that, at peace within ourselves, but then again, I think that sometimes many of us live in denial, and that, yes, okay, fear factor obviously is real, and that sometimes we try to brush that off and think that we can brave it out, and no matter what, it's just basically thing. While I was trying to be with someone, or be someone who I wasn't, shall we say, I stopped loving myself in the past and allowing that particular someone in that circle pretty much to just tend to abuse me, and thought in that pattern that was accepted, being abused mentally, physically, and everything else, to the point where I was just so small, like a little mite that being disappeared within thin air. Pretty much, I've learnt now, though, we shouldn't let that pattern of cycle continue, even though I thought that was just the way love was, even though my parents showed me love is different of what they have shown in their marriage, and that since their marriage is strong within these 30 or so years being together, which, I'm hoping someday love will be real, even though people say love isn't real, but in all honesty and fairness, love is real, but it's just how we perceive it in our everyday lives. Anyway, I also learned pretty much when I wasn't myself also, I pretty much started to close myself in by basically putting a wall up, pretty much preventing any walls of, wounds as well, basically, of whatever was coming my way to, take it on board, even though I'm the kind of girl that will take almost anything to a point where I'm almost likely to break or not. Even though pretty much in this wall that I've created, I tend to think, compliments were starting to become threats, because how I felt about myself at that time. However, I was down and out, obviously, and basically another one was basically finding out that guys maybe were attacking me in the wrong reasons, even if some of them that I have come in my life saying that they loved me and that, and I obviously am starting to try and find out what really love is through certain guys that will hopefully treat me the way I have treated them, basically showing them the real love deal. But even though now it's taking a real courage and confidence boost for me to find myself, however. Well, at the moment of time, however, while I was down and out pretty much and all of that process, I allowed people to open up the same wound and stab me, label me, whatever the works, trying to the point where I ended up almost broken completely in myself, even though I may not have shown it. Many people may think I'm the brave one. I've been through the works, yes. But then when I have my down moment, yeah, I do tend to have that crying moment, having that meltdown stage, basically, even though it does, I get so emotional to the point that many people think, she's too hard to handle, too hard to understand and all this, which, as I said in the last video, one of my last videos, that label mentality needs to stop and that stereotyping. However, I am trying to tell you guys this isn't about a poor me situation or self-pity. I'm just, as I said, creating an awareness and all that is just pretty much realizations here, honey. So bear with me on myself, on what needed to be done for me pretty much at that moment of time. Even though when I was almost broken, I was a complete mess, I felt like I couldn't pick myself up again. Pretty much part of me just felt that I needed to be basically, need to hide away from the world for a bit, curling up on a ball, nobody loves me, cares for me and all that, so I did a bit of self-pity, and when I was actually really down and out, depressed-wise, almost started to continue to do bits and pieces of, self-harming, ending life and stuff, even though, luckily, in those attempts, I was actually stopped by my parents and few others out there that actually knew me, saying, hold up, Kerrin, there's more to life than just, filling yourself up with pills or self-harming. So I know what it's like, pretty much. Also, this is a self-realization, however, when I needed to open my eyes that I was blinded to of some of the stuff that was going on around me, pretty much, that I was allowing, as I said before, like the same patterns pretty much in cycle to continue of getting abused regardless what it was, even also same pattern of just being people bullying me to the point that, they think they're right and I'm wrong sort of thing, to the point of basically sometimes in this pattern that I was allowing in my time, that it's like, hang on a minute, this doesn't sound right, feel right. But at this moment of time though, I realized that I needed to actually create a different pattern, which is forgiving and forgetting that person, obviously, at that time in the first place, not showing bitterness and hate towards that person. Okay, yes, as I said before, they have their own problems in their lives, even though they may be too weak or in denial of it or of what's going on in their life, even though some of them that I've been with are telling me that, I'm not depressed, I am not this. Maybe one day they can open up and realise that maybe, this is them the problem, not me. However, I need, as I said in one of my videos, I am now a victor, I am a successor, I have come through all walks of things of what I've been through. It's like, however, in my past relationships, I have broken up with them, have a cool-off period, hoping that during that time that particular guy would change himself and hope that he will apologise and acknowledge to me that he was at fault, he was the problem, or there was a problem within that situation that we were facing, and maybe we could deal with it so that we can move on past beyond that point of that problem, so that hopefully if that problem occurs again, it won't be a bigger part of a mess, even though sometimes I've realised in my past relationships, many guys tend to sweep it under the carpet and it makes it bigger, and then that's when problems still exist, and to this day, and that it just makes it harder for that person to actually come out of, be it me or that particular someone I was with. I realise now also sometimes in past relationships that sometimes that while they had their own problems, they had to deal it on their own, and hopefully maybe have their own self-reflection, self-realization of basically that they can get the help they needed if need be, because sometimes I feel that we all need help sometime in our lives, regardless, how deep that problem is. We should just find someone who we trust, maybe a family member, or sometimes even better still, maybe people outside the circle of our family and friends, be it a counsellor, a pastor, or whatever the case may be, whom we may trust. Well, all I can say was, all is well to forgive and start over again with that particular person I was with, you know, even though the breakup did still have its problems there. Denial, bitterness, anger, and more other areas did surface. Pretty much, as I said, a repetitive cycle, which I was in, like, in the past 8 years of this person, even though to this day, hopefully he'll realise that, you know, I am who I am. My pattern that surfaces time and time again is to forgive the person, which I'm saying, and not to show bitterness and hate. This is also comes to the present day of who may come into my circle that may, you know, tend to choose to address the pattern to me that, you know, Kerrin, you shouldn't let this happen again and again. I've realised now it's also, we are at a point now that we need to grow spiritually, mentally, physically as a person, and take to the time to realise pretty much of what we needed to do, you know, in our own given time, so to speak. Many people don't take the time, however, I realise, to actually, how to word this, from our loved one to learn our own behaviours as well as their behaviours, basically, of how they treated us, what they say, think and do. Sometimes we just tend to think that, oh, we should self-pity them all the time, whereas to me, I'm coming to the point now is there must be a reason why they're attacking me, you know, what environment are they in, for starters, where are they at in their lives maybe, could be causing it, why is it a problem to them and stuff. Sometimes, yes, as I've been trying to tell myself, I can't always be Mrs. Fix-It with the Mrs. Fix-It hat on, but I'm here to try to tell myself to help others if they're willing to allow me to help them, regardless in the physical sense of just walking around town, you know, if people want me around, you know, they can call me, you know, some of them knows who they are and all that, but then again, it's up to them, however. But anyway, let's keep going. Sometimes, however, my lesson I've learned also is maybe I am too soft, too vulnerable, too forgiving, sometimes maybe too kind, as someone said to me, to the point that I'm allowing people to walk all over me, pretty much to treat me the same way time and time again, regardless, hence the word, you know, when we break up, pretty much they think that I've forgiven them full-heartedly, and then they'll stab me in the back again, or opening my old wounds again, with that same problem coexisting, to the point where this wound won't heal. So it's like, pretty much it's a lesson they need to learn in their own books, so to speak, you know. But for me, though, it's forgive and love them so much so, even though I'm not trying to make excuses for them, that to the point that I shouldn't be losing myself. And sometimes I've learned also, when I have done this repeatedly, forgiving others, you know, I have tend to lost my inner voice, pretty much as of loving myself, pretty much to the point of trusting others, holding on so much, thinking that, you know, I should be able to actually change that situation, change that person. But I've learned now I can't change that person to a box or to a standard label that I have learned in the past not to change that person, because it's up to them to change, pretty much, that I thought I knew so much. Trying so hard also to make something work. We need to know that we need to be someone that we want to be, not who they want us to be. Meaning, basically, we need to self-realize ourselves that we are called for a purpose and a reason, pretty much, and that sometimes we shouldn't be out there to please others, as I said before, but because at the end of the day, this is not love. However, with person wanting to change us, how we dress, think, say, act, do, they should, as I said, accept our flaws, imperfections, and the works. This is how I look at it, because obviously it's just them being selfish in their own way, trying to actually hide away and actually want and not think about us in the process of actually loving ourselves, no matter what it may be. You know, they should be loving of themselves also. I've learnt also, when you love everyone, especially that special someone who doesn't seem to love you on the same level that you do, pretty much, sometimes we need to just keep on loving ourselves, however, as well, so that hopefully one day, you know, when we actually lead by example. That person may love us for who and what we are, pretty much, because at the end of the day, I know for a fact that many people have been trying to be blunt and honest to me, that's the thing, but I felt that sometimes they may be in denial also that they're not loving themselves, because obviously they've been so hard on themselves so many times, time again. I've seen this in this particular someone at the moment in the present, that obviously they're beating themselves up, time and time again, and it hurts me because it's a self-reflection on me, what I used to do when I was in their shoes. I do understand to a point, basically, as I said to this particular someone, how it feels and what it feels like, even though he may not want to express it to me in a way or talk it out to me, but it doesn't matter, because obviously I can see it and feel it within its own means of what's going on, sort of thing. Even if he thinks, you're telling lies, Karen, blah, 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 even if it does get under skin, basically, of what I'm saying, because I know it's truth, even though I'm not going to sugarcoat anything to this point. Okay, last and not least, we should let love win all the time. Love conquers everything, as it says in the Bible, love is patient, love is kind, love is never weary, love never judges, and so on and so forth. I can't remember where in the Bible that is, but I'm following that through. Another lesson I have learned also, pretty much, is if need be, love others, and to the point, if enough is enough, let them go and do their own thing. Let them go party or whatever, even if that particular someone in that circle says that they don't love me, they want to experiment more, whatever the case may be. That's fine. I got to just try and learn to let go if need be, even if it does hurt me in the process, even though sometimes some people may just let go and just show really, bitterness and hatred towards that person. I don't know. But forgiving others also, I know that I'll be in peace within myself. Loving others, not ourselves. We need to put ourselves out there first, As I said before, I've lost myself in that cycle of being with a lot of people in my past relationships, basically. And I'm learning now that I need to love myself more and trying to be easy on myself more. I need to appreciate myself more and actually, hopefully be the real me, even though I am the real me here in the flesh while I'm doing these videos, peoples. But if many people know me in the flesh, in person, then you know what it is. But anyway, I better stop jabbering. I've noticed that I'm over my time limit of what I wanted to share about pretty much losing ourselves, or even myself, and actually giving you the heads up of what I've learned. The drills, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, follow. Hopefully this is an eye-opener, and I'll hope to see you all soon.